everyone! Today I'm going to make the iconic Japanese soup ramen in 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day. 1 minute starts now. The only solution is instant ramen. So take out the seasoning packets and pour boiling water over it. Now the brewing process has begun, and now we can add the seasonings. All that's left is to cover it with a lid. The timer has rung. The ramen is ready. Before eating, you just need to mix it up. Let's take tasty noodles and a rich, albeit chemical broth. Considering we only had 1 minute, this is great. For the next ramen, we'll have a whole hour. Here, we're going to use proper dried ramen noodles. Their flavor characteristics are much higher than the previous ones. So take 1 portion and put it in to boil and stir it so it doesn't stick. After 7 minutes, you can take it off the stove and drain the excess water. Pour the noodles into the bowl. And as a base, we're going to use store-bought chicken broth. And to give it a powerful flavor, we're going to use an Asian soup paste. And we're going to put it on the stove, and stirring it, we're going to bring it to a boil. All done. Now we can pour it into the bowl. The main topping will be chicken fillet. We're going to slice it into pieces and transfer it to a bowl. Now for the marinade, we're going to add soy sauce, chili sauce, mirin, fish sauce, minced garlic, and grate ginger on a fine grater. All done. Now we're going to mix the chicken well. After 30 minutes of marinating, we're going to spray oil on a hot grill and fry the chicken pieces. A minute later, we're going to flip them over to the other side, and after another minute, you can arrange them nicely in the bowl. The first topping is ready. The second topping is going to be boiled eggs. You need to prepare a bowl with cold water and ice in advance. Exactly after 6 minutes of boiling, transfer the eggs into the water. This is needed to instantly stop the cooking. Now you can easily peel the eggs by tapping the shell with a spoon. All done. All that's left is to cut the egg in half. Now the yolk turned out runny, just what we needed. So we're going to place the second topping in the bowl. The last and third topping is just chopped green onions, because we're running out of time. We're going to arrange it nicely in the bowl, and now our second ramen is ready. We managed to make it in exactly 1 hour. Let's taste it. First, the noodles. They're not bad. They're like mid-level ramen. The chicken, not bad, but nothing special. Now the egg, standard, without much flavor, but with the right texture. And then lastly, the broth. Now this is very tasty and has a powerful Asian aroma. Overall, it's tastier than the instant ramen, but not a huge wow. Now we're going to move on to the final ramen, which will take us a whole day to make. Let's start with the thing that takes the longest, kimchi. We're going to take 2 mini cabbages, remove the roots, cut them into quarters, and then chop them crosswise. Then we're going to sprinkle them generously with salt on top, and then knead them with your hands. Then just cover it with plastic wrap and leave it to salt for 1 hour. All done. Now we can put it in the colander and rinse it under running water. Then at the end, we're going to squeeze out all the excess moisture and put it into a bowl. Now into a saucepan, and we're going to add glutinous rice flour, sugar, kimchi paste, fish sauce, minced garlic, finely chopped ginger, and onion. Also a little water, and then we're going to mix and thicken it on the stove. All done. After it cools down, we can add the paste to the cabbage. And then we're going to mix this, and in this state, we're going to leave the kimchi to ferment for a full 22 hours. Next, we're going to marinate our eggs. We're going to boil the eggs first to a soft state, just like for the 1 hour ramen. But here, we're going to marinate them in soy sauce, water, dried ginger, chili pepper, sesame oil, garlic, sugar, green onions, and regular onions. Now we're going to mix the marinade and submerge the eggs into it. We're going to add enough liquid so that the eggs float and then leave them to marinate. 20 hours later, they're ready to go. So we're going to take them out. And as you can see, the white has taken on the color of the marinade. All that's left is to cut them. And that's it. The marinated eggs for ramen are ready. Now we move on to the most important part, the perfect ramen broth. On a baking tray, we're going to place sinewy parts of beef, chicken, and vegetables. We're going to spray them generously with oil to give maximum browning, and then we can put them in the oven on the broil grill setting. All done. Thanks to the browning, the broth is going to have a richer flavor. Now we're going to transfer everything to a pot. We need a powder based on kombu seaweed. It's going to make our broth similar similar to what they make in the best ramen shops in Japan. We're gonna add 3. This next package is going to take our broth to an ultra umami taste because inside are pieces of kombu seaweed, tuna flakes, dried anchovies, roasted flying fish, shiitake mushrooms, and mackerel flakes. We're gonna open the packets and pour them into the pot, along with pieces of ginger, cloves of garlic, and water. And that's it. We can put the pot on the stove. And to enhance all the flavors, we're gonna need to add monosodium glutamate, MSG. Now we wait for all the flavors from our ingredients to transfer into the broth. This is going to take 16 hours. We add water periodically, and that's it. Now we can take all the components back out of the pot. They've already given their flavor, so all that's left is to strain it through a sieve. Perfect golden broth for ramen is completely ready. So next up is Naruto Maki. This is a very popular topping for ramen, and it's made from fish. So we're going to cut the fish fillet into pieces and put them into a bowl. Then we're going to blend them with an immersion blender until they become emulsified. We're going to spread most of the fish paste onto plastic wrap and then put the smaller portion into a small bowl. This paste needs to be evenly distributed on the plastic wrap. All done. Now we're going to add dry food coloring to the small bowl with the paste, and we're going to mix it. Now we're going to put the red paste into a piping bag and pipe it in lines onto the white fish paste. This also needs to be spread out carefully. Then we're going to roll it up into a log. We're going to tighten the plastic wrap on both ends and secure the plastic with zip tie and cut off the excess and wrap the log in a sushi mat to maintain its shape. We're going to cook it in a steamer. This is going to take about a half an hour. And now it's time to take out our fish log. We're going to get rid of all the wrapping, and let's see what it looks like inside. A beautiful spiral pattern, just what we wanted. Naruto Maki for ramen is ready. The next topping, fried shiitake mushrooms. So take the raw mushrooms and cut off the stems, and make a cross pattern cut on the caps. Put them in a pan and fry them. Now thanks to this, we're going to get a nice opening on the top. To add flavor, we're going to add sugar and soy sauce. Once the glaze has stuck to the mushrooms, they're all done. The next topping is grilled beef tongue over coals. In my opinion, beef tongue is a very underrated part, so I decided to show its use in ramen. The first thing we're going to do is to remove the tough outer skin of the tongue. It's impossible to chew. The tongue is prepared. This part here is considered the most valuable, all because of the perfect ratio of fat to meat. It resembles wagyu. We're going to slice it into thin pieces. We're just going to salt the tongue to preserve its unique flavor. Then we're going to cook it on the grill. We're going to fill it with coals, gather some solid fuel, and light it. We need about half an hour for the coals to get hot. After that, we're going to spread them evenly over the grill, and then add the grill grate and start frying the beef tongue. After 20 seconds, we're going to flip it to the other side and cook that side for 20 seconds. Then we're going to transfer it to a plate. The meat component of the ramen is ready. The sixth topping will be grilled corn. We're going to need a cob of pre-boiled corn. We're going to take it out of the package, put it on a skewer, squeeze mint, and oyster sauce. Then we're going to spread this evenly with a brush and put it on the grill. We need to get a crust on the outside, so every 2 minutes we're going to turn the corn cob to the other side, part with a knife. Our last topping for the ramen is ready. Now we just need to make the homemade noodles. So we're going to pour flour onto the table and make a well in it. Crack 1 egg and add salt and alkaline water, kansui. Now we can start kneading the noodle dough. All done. Now we're going to roll it out with a rolling pin. And next we're going to roll it further using a pasta machine. We're going to reduce the gap between the rollers and roll it through again. In the end, we're going to get a very long sheet of dough. All that's left is to cut it using the pasta cutter. All done. Now we're going to put it in boiling water to cook. We're going to stir it occasionally so that the noodles don't stick, and then they're all ready. We're going to put them in a bowl, add soy sauce, sesame oil, and finally our golden broth. Then we're going to arrange our slices of beef tongue, our grilled corn, our fresh young kimchi, fried shiitake mushrooms, Naruto Maki, nori chips, marinated chicken eggs, pickled pink ginger, and finally green onions. And that's it. The boss ramen is ready. We cooked it non-stop for a whole day. I hope it was worth it. Let's taste the noodles first. Yes, fresh noodles absorb the broth flavor much better. Now the shiitake mushrooms, very tasty. Naruto maki, these are pretty tasty fish pieces. The homemade kimchi, it's young and perfect for ramen. The grilled corn, it has an amazing sweetish smoky flavor. The grilled tongue, this has a really special taste with a smell of smoke. It's absolutely fantastic. The marinated eggs, this is probably my favorite topping in ramen. The soft yolk and the white soaked in the umami flavor. And then lastly, the important thing, the broth. This is the most delicious broth I have ever made. It has a rich, meaty, and at the same time oceanic flavor, thanks to the seaweed and dried fish varieties. Overall, this is the most delicious ramen I've ever eaten. Write in the comments where you've had the best ramen in your life. It'll be interesting to read.